roots are getting quite tragic. So did I curl my hair today just to hide the brown sludge that's happening on top of my head? No, what are you talking about? I realise now I've brought attention to it. Everyone's probably just gonna be looking, but ignore, just ignore. Ignore it, it's not there. Hello. That is not how you start your videos. Oh gosh, out of practice, not done this for a while, have I? Don't know what I'm doing, it feels like I'm starting YouTube all over again and it's scary. Hi everyone and welcome back to Lorny Lou. It's been a hot minute, I tell you that. It's been a wee while since I've sat down and made a video. Last video was my London vlog, which I can't believe was 3 weeks ago now, but thank you all for all the love on that vlog. It genuinely blew me away because I was so proud of that vlog, but it was also my first time vlogging. But it meant the world that everyone really enjoyed it. So thank you so much for all the love on that video. But that was 3 weeks ago. I can't remember when my last sit down video was. So I'm very out of practice. Also, I'm sort of starting to come down with a cold. So I do apologise if I sound a bit nasally or if I sound like a man. I just ignore it, okay? It's a weird cold. It's like sort of there, sort of not. Like I'm not complaining because I don't want a bad cold, but it's just there. And it's like, are you gonna make up your mind? Are you gonna be a bad cold or are you gonna be like, can you just, whatever, just leave. Anyways. Slight tangent. For today's video, I thought I'd do a writing themed video purely because I haven't read much recently. Oops, I have 2 books on the go at the minute. Let me get them. My current reads. I've not picked up a book in like the last week and a bit. It's been a bit of an off week, can't lie, but it's okay because I'm back to this and I'm feeling a bit more like myself, minus the cold. So hopefully I'll be able to pick my books up soon. I've got 2 books on the go. One is for uni / my novel and the other one is for pleasure. I don't want to say for pleasure because both of them are very pleasurable reads, but you know what I mean. I'm reading Book Lovers by Emily Henry, which I absolutely adore at the minute. I've not picked it up in ages, but I am enjoying it. And it's such a nice break from all the fantasy that I've been reading. So it's light-hearted, it's funny, and I'm falling in love with Charlie. So what's not to like? Second read is The Cotton Lie Secret by Hazel Gaynor. Molting all over myself. By Hazel Gaynor. I'm not very far into it at the minute, but oh my god, I love it so much so far. It's about the Cottingley fairies, which there are pictures of these guys. Can you see it? Can you see it? I have no idea if you can see it. Apologies if you couldn't. Just Google it if you couldn't. That's what I'm reading so far, or have been trying to read. There's an attempt being made, okay? Now, the actual video. So the aim with my channel was to make writing videos as well, because I'm not just an avid reader, I'm an aspiring author. So I want to share my little nuggets of wisdom that I learn along the way with you guys, if, you know, because there could be other aspiring authors that watch my videos. So I want to share my knowledge and I want to share my experiences as well. So I thought, why not do it today? Seeing as I've not read much, I don't have many books to talk about right now, and I've had a bit of a break. Accidental break, but a break nonetheless. So I thought I'd start quite nice and easy and I'd do the top 5 tips to get over writer's block, because this little brain has not been wanting to write for at least a few weeks now. It's also driving me insane. But I wanted to sort of share that writer's block isn't a bad thing and that there are ways to overcome it. So let's get into the video. Why do I always do that? I actually hate myself. Let's just get into it, shall we? I feel like I've spoken too much. Tip number 1. I actually learned this one from one of my lecturers at uni, and it's just a way to get ideas out, like, because there are times where you have writer's block but you feel quite creative still, but nothing's working the way you want it to. Frustrating times. I understand. But my lecturer told me that just writing something down still counts, even if it's in note form. So that's a big tip for me, is to write stuff down in notes. So then you can come back to it the next day, a few days' time, in a week's time, and know that there was progress being made, you just couldn't write it down in full. And those notes will really help you in the long run. So don't be opposed to just writing stuff really rough in notes, whether it's handwritten, on your phone, or on the document itself. Just write down the notes so it's still getting ideas from your head onto the paper, just in note form. So then it's not overwhelming you, because sometimes when you have writer's block, it can seem quite overwhelming to just sit down and write 500 words. So note form is a way to get rid of that feeling, so you're in a much better frame of mind for when you come to write it properly. Tip number 2, I find that I always tend to sit in the same spot when I'm writing, which can work because it's like my little writer's nook, but at the same time, sometimes that doesn't work for you, because that spot becomes the spot you sit in when you work, and then it's not very fun anymore. My biggest tip with that would be to have a change of scenery. Change of scenery is also great for inspiration. Maybe if it's a nice day, you want to go from inside the house to outside, and then you've got so much more around you to like bounce ideas off of. And outside is actually really good if you're writing fiction, to bring those senses to life, because there's just so much outside. There's a word I'm looking for. What's the word? Trigger? Oh my god, what is the word? Sensory? Is that what I'm looking for? I have no idea what I'm trying to say. Outside is good. Stimulate. The word was stimulate. It's only taken 3 days. Oh my god. But regardless of what I'm trying to think of then, change of scenery really helps. Maybe you always write in your bed, but it's time to get up out of bed. Even just go downstairs to the dining table or onto the sofa. Like, it's a change of scenery and it sort of freshens your mind a bit. And that's so key, freshening your mind. And the word fresh will come up a lot in this video, so brace yourself. Change of scenery is very key, and you sort of have to freshen it up every now and then to keep the brain going, to keep the cogs turning. Make yourself a cup of tea. Bonus tip, make yourself a cup of tea. If a cup of tea can't fix it, there's just no point. Tip number 3. This sort of stems from the first tip, which is still trying to write something despite your brain sort of going, no, I can't think of anything. But it's not to do with what you're trying to write. If you go away and find a writing prompt, or just go away and write something else, maybe you want to write a little journal entry on how frustrated you're feeling with your writer's block, it's still writing and it's still getting that creativity flowing, which is so key even when you feel like you can't write anything. Writer's prompts help so much, because from that small little sentence you can create a whole brand new story that you would never have thought of until you'd read the prompt. And it keeps the creativity going, again, for those times where you feel like you want to sit down and write but nothing's working. Writing prompts are the best way to go. Tip number 4, workshop. Oh my god, workshop your work. It's the best thing that you will ever do as an aspiring author. Even if the people you workshop with aren't other writers, it's so helpful to get feedback from a whole range of people. I obviously have writing friends from uni, so I can workshop with them and they understand the craft that goes into it. I have lots of friends that are avid readers, so they don't write themselves, but they read and they know what to look out for, so I send my work to them. And then I have other people in my life that don't read or write much, and their feedback is just as useful, because if I intrigue them enough to read, then I'm doing something right. As well, other people's feedback can really help your own work. They can pick up on something you've never thought of before and you go back and edit. They can also come up with ideas that, again, you would never have thought of. So their suggestions can really freshen, there it is again, can really freshen up your mind and really push your piece to its fullest potential. Workshopping is also great because it gives you the chance to discuss your piece, and for you as a writer to sit there and explain what you want your writing to do and what your aim is for the novel, story, poem, whatever you're writing. even if it's just a couple of people that you send your work to, it will make the difference. And their feedback can ignite that flame, and then you'll be well away. And finally, tip number 5. I feel like this one is so key, and I think we as writers forget that this is okay. But if all else fails, if you can't do step 1 to 4, not that they're steps, they're just tips, but if you can't even write something down in notes, you don't feel like a writing prompt is good enough inspiration, it is okay to take a break. I feel like us writers forget that a lot, and we think that we have to drum out about 1,000 to 2,000 words a day. Even like just 500 words a day, that's still amazing progress. But even if you don't want to write anything, that's okay too. So if you sit down at your laptop and nothing's flowing, don't force it. I've always said to friends that forcing something out is way worse, because that's what creates burnout. If you sit there trying to force something out, it's not going to be your best writing, you're not going to be very proud of it, and just type it all out and delete it all in the space of 10 minutes. And that's not what you want to be doing, because that's not progressing. I feel like a lot of us forget that it's okay to not write something. If you aren't feeling it, take a break, take the day off. You're all good. That's allowed, you're allowed to do that. So tying on to that last point, don't pressure yourself. Pressure is not a great thing to put on yourself when writing, because you just don't write the best things. And obviously with first drafts, things aren't going to be perfect, but you sort of want to feel good about what you've written, despite it being first draft, second draft, 15th draft, 20th draft, whatever. You want to feel good about what you've written, and you want to have felt productive. And you're not going to feel that way if you pressure yourself to sit there and write a certain amount of words when you're not feeling it. If you're not feeling it, you're not feeling it, and it's okay to go, no, not today. We all have days where creativity doesn't flow very easily, so we're all allowed to take a day off. A big point that I would say though, and I know I was saying earlier that, you know, if you force something, you're probably going to write it and then delete it, and you don't want to be put in that position. But there have been times where I felt that what I've written, even if I didn't force it, didn't feel right, and I have deleted before. I would hold off on deleting immediately. Even if you don't think it's great, let it simmer. If you've written something, leave it. Come back to it tomorrow and read it. The amount of times I've written something and gone, that is absolute rubbish, and have come to it the next day and thought, actually, you know what, that's all right, and I've turned it into something better, or I've reread it and thought, actually, what was I thinking? That was amazing. That's just what I needed. It's like the whole note form thing. You're still writing something, and with fresher eyes, it might be the best thing you've ever written. You just might have been in a really bad mood the day before. Don't write to just delete. Write, keep, and then if it's still bad the next day, then sure, delete it. But hold off on the deleting. Don't write and delete immediately. And I think the best piece of advice that I can give, especially when in the early stages of writing, is that first drafts aren't meant to be perfect. And this is coming from a massive perfectionist. You have a whole range of writers. Some people write really good first drafts and don't edit much. Then there are people that write like really rough first drafts and edit loads, and both will eventually, the outcome will be the same, that they've got a piece that they're really happy with and really proud of. It doesn't matter how you've crafted it, as long as you're proud of the final outcome, then that's all that matters. But with first drafts, I spent so long thinking that they had to be perfect and that you then edit the first draft. No. No. First drafts are purely you getting your ideas out on the page. A lot of your first draft will be deleted or edited. Very, very rarely will the original version of your story be the final draft, unless you're like insanely talented at writing, which a lot of us are. But it takes time. You can't just write something and then it'd be like, yeah, that's amazing, cool, that's ready to publish. Like, you've got to reread, proofread, edit. Even if it's small changes, you're still editing and it's still useful. So first drafts are not meant to be perfect. They are your brain on the page, getting all your ideas out, and you then figure it out as you go along. Especially with novel writing, there's so many things that you think work in your original plan. You go back and think, oh, there's a plot hole there, I've got to figure that out. I read something once that said the only way you can make a first draft perfect is to simply get it on the page, and that is exactly it. That is so true. First drafts aren't your final draft, but they're the thing that starts the ball rolling. I think my key point out of all of this is that perfection comes with time and lots of work. Really out of practice, aren't I? I've just been waffling. This was meant to be a top 5 tips on how to overcome writer's block, and now I'm saying first drafts aren't meant to be perfect, guys. Come on. My main takeaways and main points from this video. To sum up, change of scenery, so important. Get it down in notes and you'll all be good. And if all else fails, try again tomorrow. Don't put pressure on yourself to be the perfect writer straight away, and don't expect your first drafts to be utter perfection either. It's a work in progress. You're there to edit, you're there to rework it, you're there to have fun. That's so key. Oh my gosh, just have fun with it. And if you don't feel like you're having fun and you don't feel like it's working, turn your laptop off and try again tomorrow. God dang, I feel like I'm out of breath now. Spoken too much, Jesus. Just talked at you a lot. I don't know if I got any of my points across, but whatever, it's fine. You know what it is, it's okay. So I hope this video is somewhat useful for the fellow aspiring authors like myself on the world of YouTube. So I don't know if it helped, but if it did help at least one person, then hey, I've done the job. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully I can get back into making regular videos again. I'm not promising. I'm saying hopefully. It's a maybe. Oh, I love sitting down making videos. Life has just gone in the way recently. Life has just been busy. Oh my gosh. But I have missed this. I think you can tell because I don't know how long I've been sat here recording this video now. Probably too long. Just waffling away, not making any points. I've got a script that I keep looking at and I feel like I went on about 18,000 tangents. It's okay though. It's fine, right? So thank you very much for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Love you all. Bye. Holy shit, I can chat for England.